Hey guys, I'm just gonna let you guys know that this is not an actual video. This is more of a podcast, just letting me bring out my thoughts. Not necessarily a vlog like I usually do, but me just voicing my opinion, maybe showing you a couple pictures along with my voice. Now this is gonna be unedited, so it might be rough, and I might take time to think every once in a while. But basically, it's just going to be very conversational, like manner, and I'm just going to be talking about the Halloween franchise. And I'm not going to review the entire thing or go into specific details, but I'm just going to voice my opinion on the subject. Just tell you how much I love the series. Now, when I was a kid, my first encounter with any Michael Myers memorabilia or product was actually a white mask. That's what my uncle from my stepmom's side bought. He actually bought a number of masks. I think there was a Jason Voorhees mask, and I can't remember what the other mask was, but one of the masks was a Michael Myers mask. It was only a half mask, only covered the face and hair. It was pretty fine, it wasn't too bad. It was just plain white mask, and I looked at it and I had absolutely no idea what it was. Later on, I ended up seeing the last bit, like the very ending couple scenes of Halloween H2O, and there was that white faced man again. I had absolutely no idea what the story was or what was going on. At this time, I knew it was Michael Myers because I've heard, a couple of my friends talking about it. It's like, I asked my friends, who's that guy with the, the white mask? And they'd just tell me, it's Michael Myers. He's just a basic man and he kills with a knife. I'm like, alright. So I'm watching this and, the head gets cut off at the ending scene. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess the movies are done. And then my dad looks over and he says, nope, he always ends up finding a way. And I thought, how could that happen if he's just a man? Years later, we ended up getting a Halloween programming on our TV. It was a monster marathon or something like that. And one of the movies that showed up was John Carpenter's original Halloween. I watched it, and it was fantastic. I couldn't keep my eyes off the television. Just the way it was just way different than what I've seen of Michael Myers. Now, every time I saw something of it, it didn't look right to me. I saw a trailer to Halloween Resurrection before this, and of course, I didn't know what Michael Myers was supposed to be like. I've never watched any of the movies. I just saw this trailer, and what I remember the most is seeing the stupid webcam POV shots and stuff. And I thought I for some reason thought it was going to be like a TV show where it's pulling pranks on someone, not an actual movie. So I totally disregarded that. Anyway, so this Monster Madness marathon thing came up, and I watched movies like Creature of the Black Lagoon for the first time, and then I saw Halloween. And it just totally changed my perspective on horror movies. Up to this time, I had never really watched horror movies. I watched a couple scary movies, like I saw a little bit of Scream, but that was it. I wasn't too interested in it. But the way Michael Myers was, how he crept and stalked just silently, it gave me a really eerie feeling, but I thought it was also very cool. I also loved the ending, how Loomis was the one to confront him and ended up shooting him out the window. He goes down to check outside and he's gone. I love this. I thought it was so cool. I ended up making a little short film just to help my cousin and my sister, help them with their boredom. We were all bored, so we just decided, hey Anthony, let's make a movie or something like that. And I had no intentional idea on releasing it. In fact, you still can't find it on YouTube. I uploaded it and took it off, and just like, it just doesn't belong. Because it's completely ripped off of Halloween. My character like did everything that Michael Myers did. He didn't speak a word. He followed a sister figure, and even disappeared after he got shot at the end. This is pretty good for, a 12-year-old. I think I was 12. I'm not sure how old I was, but I was pretty young. And I did that all within one night. And I ended up doing a remake with a totally different story. But, yeah, anyway. I watched that, and I got into it, and I started looking for other movies, because I knew there was more out there. I'd seen trailers before. So I ended up watching number 2, and I really loved that. I thought it was great to have the option of either keeping it in your mind that he's still out there and you never know where he went, or you can watch number 2 if you want some closure to it. And I just love that option, and I've always did that. Whenever Halloween came up, I'd watch 1 and then I would watch 2. But I watched 2, and it just didn't have that same kind of vibe, not vibe, but it just wasn't as good as the second one. It was pretty damn close, but it just wasn't able to top the first one. It had the same writer, John Carpenter, to it, but it just didn't have that charm that the first one did, at least not for me. Now, the third one, a lot of people criticize. I have personally not seen it, and I did criticize it at one point. I was like, what are they doing just going on a different thing like that for no reason? But then once I understand that they were going to try to make it into an anthology series, I understood. I watched 4 and 5. 4 was okay. Definitely wasn't as good as the first and second. And I don't think it really even had a purpose to be made. Of course, wanting more money. I never saw 6, but it looks like a piece of crap. I saw, of course, H2O and Resurrection. I think a little bit of it. But that's about it. Now, remakes, at first, I thought the remake was going to be a sequel, or like a reboot kind of thing. I remember seeing the poster, and I got really excited when I was a kid, because this was like 2007. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up watching it. It was very, very gory. Very different stylistically from the original one. And I don't think it's too much of a problem. Like, the first movie came out in 1978, and it's lost, less and less people watch it. I mean, if I were to see like, hey, who wants to watch Halloween this year? A lot of my family are gonna pass. I don't think they'll want to watch Rob Zombie's one either, because that's just way too violent. But still, what I observed is that when Rob Zombies came out, sorry, when Rob Zombies Halloween came out, it gained more following. A lot of my friends got into Halloween, and of course, they were around my age, and they weren't movie guys like I was. Always paying tribute to, or watching old movies. Because some people don't do that. They watch modern things. And I don't think it is a bad thing to remake movies, as long as you bring something new. Like Rob Zombie's Halloween, he tries to have a little bit more to the young Michael Myers. Whereas in the original one, it starts right off, and you only see him in one scene. and I don't think it is that bad. I mean, there might be some people out there who are wondering what was he like when he was younger. I don't like, however, that he's coming from white trash and stuff like that. When I first watched the movie, I just thought that was stupid that, he's just a Virginia Tech kind of killer, He got picked on and then he turned into a psychopath. Now, what could have saved it was if they more explained that it wasn't just him being picked on and, being in a white trash home. That if it's like, yeah, he had that and that made him weaker to not be able to fight this inner demon that he had. That had nothing to do with white trash, stuff. If they had done that, I think it would have been more interesting. In H2, I don't really like too much. It's got the sequel syndrome, not as good as the first. It's totally free because it definitely doesn't have to follow Halloween 2 from the original one. It's no longer a remake; it's a sequel from his remake. But it is totally different. It's been like 1 or 2 years, depending on which version you watch. And from what I hear, the unrated version, which is actually the version I think I watched, not sure, it's been a while since I watched it, is supposed to be the better version. And, I don't know, but it seems like what people are saying is that the theatrical version is a version where it got ripped out of his hands and he wasn't finished with it. And that the unrated version is what he wanted to show, which I really understand that. Director's cuts, that happens all the time. It's usually better than the original one. But I still don't like it that much. It just, I don't know. It doesn't stick with me. Like, I'm trying to think. I mean, I watched it. It was 2009 when it came out, and I watched it like a little bit after, somewhere around 2010. I think I watched it, which is only last year, and I just can't really remember too much of it. I remember Laurie going through some changes. Like, she wasn't as nice as she was in the first one, and Michael Myers just doesn't seem too interesting. I remember him in the unrated version, him talking and getting shot down. I didn't like him talking and him saying die. I don't know, I just think it's more scarier if a person just, he stays quiet forever, just never spoke after that. But I mean, realistically, a person would say something after 15 years, But I think it would have been more interesting is if he did talk, I mean, he did talk. He said die. But instead of die, he would have said something to, he's saying die to Loomis. I think it would be more interesting if he said, you failed me, or something like that, and then stabbed him. I think that would have been more impactful. Or, more interesting, just, you failed me, and then he stabs Loomis or something. I think that would have been more interesting than die. I mean, of course you're stabbing all these people. Of course you want them to die. I mean, it doesn't need to be said. But anyway, I watched the 2007 one last night. No, the night before. And I'm more open to it. I'm more forgiving. Because the first time I watched it, I was, a big hardcore fan. I was like, that sucks, it sucks. I don't like the extreme amount of violence. There's just like boobs and tons of blood everywhere. And I don't really care for that. But I kind of like it because it's a breath of, fresh air. It's something new, and it gives me more of an option, because it's not like totally replacing the original. Remakes don't, once they come out, that one's gone. Well, of course, iTunes, I can't freaking find the original one on there, only the remake. But, it gives me an option. Do I want to watch this one, or do I want to watch that one? Instead of the crappy sequels that came after, the originals. Like 6. But anyway, I'm running out of time. That's my thoughts. Share your favorite Halloween moments with me. I'd really like to know. Voice your opinion on the remakes or any of the other Halloween movies. This has been an Anthony Wilder podcast, and I'll see you guys soon. Happy Halloween.